You're watching ChillyBoy Productions. My name is Larry ChillyBoy Chilson, and this is my review for Don't Breathe 2. Before we get into the actual review, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you are always chilling with me on each and every one of my new videos. Don't Breathe 2 is a sequel to the film Don't Breathe. This time we are following Norman after the events of the first break-in as he seeks to protect a child when a new type of home invasion attacks his house. This time, though, not everything as it seems, as there's a lot of backstory to be unfolded. I'm going to be up front here and just let you know, do not believe anyone that is telling you this is not a redemption story for Stephen Lang's Norman character, because it is. It 100% is. And those people are either just straight out lying or, I don't know, don't understand what a redemption story can be, because that's what this is, 100%, period. That is the reason myself and so many others were already hesitant to watch this film, because those trailers made it very clear that we were doing some sort of redemption for him. But then we had Fede Alvarez come forward and say, oh no, that's not what's happening. Well, Alvarez, you lied. You're a straight liar. Maybe that's not what you tried to write, because you are still a screenwriter here, but that's what you made, period. I'm going to be honest, as you could probably tell from the thumbnail, this is going to be more of a rant on just how vile and horrible Don't Breathe 2 is, because I'm seeing so much mixed reaction. I've seen quite a lot of actual positive reaction to this film. Even though it's a little bit late and I had some computer issues, I needed to get on here to talk about this because it is easily the most repugnant piece of media I have watched so far in 2021. So I'll give the film its props right now on the first act, because the actual home invasion is pretty tense and they're really shot beautifully. Actually, they do these sweeping one-shot trackings of the little girl as she's moving throughout the house that look amazing. It builds the tension really well, and the first act had some sort of promise. But from there, it just turns into over-the-top, morally void trash. Sure, there are brutal kills, which I think have won people over, is seeing a guy smash other guys' heads in with mallets or whatever. Seeing a little girl get in on the action. But I'm going to probably get into spoilers, because it's going to be hard for me to accurately depict how morally bankrupt this film is without delving into the spoilers. So from here on out, this is just if you don't really have interest in watching it, or you don't care about the spoilers and you're going to go watch it for the brutal kills, then watch on. Otherwise, my message is steer clear. That's the review. So here we go. Why do I find this so terrible? Well, it goes back to the first film, because the biggest problem that actually tanks the first film in most ways is that twist that Norman has been keeping a girl hostage because she killed his daughter, and in turn has been artificially inseminating her in his basement so that she can produce him a new daughter. But then when he inadvertently kills this girl, when they try to, rescue her, he takes our female protagonist of the first film, ties her up, cuts open her jeans, and literally comes at her with a turkey baster full of semen. Because he doesn't rape, he doesn't sexually assault women, he just gets them pregnant against their will. That twist actually pretty much ruins the first film, because we didn't need that. And actually, without that twist, it solves a fair amount of the problems in the second film. Two films could have been potentially saved by just not making one pretty dumb decision. Because if you take out that weird, rapey nonsense from the first film, you now leave Norman's character in a very morally ambiguous area because you feel for him. These people broke into his house and he's defending himself and defending his house. He's a blind man. And you get it. You get why he has to defend himself. On the other hand, the reaction is still over the top and is quite murderous, but he's also a vet, probably dealing with a lot of PTSD. But you don't want these kids to lose their life over a mistake they've paid from the trauma of being attacked enough. So it leaves you in this cool, morally gray area. Film and Alvarez just couldn't give us that much more interesting and complex view. No, they had to make sure that he came across as a rapist, murderer, terrible man. I guess at the end of the day, that's fine because we're following these other kids and rooting for them to live. So it's gross. He's gross. Cool. Okay for a one off. Then they make a sequel. And guess what? It doesn't follow the girl. It doesn't see her find her way back into another crazy blind man's grasp or something. No, it follows him. And it makes Norman the lead character of this second film. And this time, he's taking care of a young girl that he pretty much just finds on the street. He takes her in and raises her as his daughter, not letting her leave the house. One, because he knows that he's a treacherous human, and two, because he's weird and overprotective. So he traumatizes this girl after saving her by mentally abusing her entire life, holding her literally hostage and captive. Cool. He doesn't see the problem with that, first of all. And we have other characters trying to hint at it, trying to say this or that. But that issue already is a problem and it doesn't really come around and only makes the manipulation that takes place in this film even worse. Now, here's the thing. He is the one protecting a small child from being abducted and then later murdered. He is the person standing in the way of a little girl being harvested for her organs. They give a throwaway line at the end of this film about stay away from me, I've done very bad things, after obviously a lifetime this girl has spent with you and still has this love and this connection with you. And then he gives the redemption line after he says, stay away from me. He tells her, no, you saved me. So this whole taking care of this little girl and saving her life is quite literally the saving of his soul to redeem him sexually assaulting and murdering people in the last film, whatever else he's done in his life. It is a literal redemption arc for the character, going from what he does in that first film to taking care of a little girl, raising her, protecting her from murder, and telling her that she saved him. That is vile on so many different ways, further past misguided, to be honest. Even just focusing on him as the hero of the story. They say it's bad men doing bad things to each other. The film doesn't frame him all that much as a bad man. It doesn't judge him as harshly as it should on what he's done to this little girl, first of all. And it doesn't judge him as harshly as it should. And again, it's real difficult to justify that the man who's protecting a small child from murder isn't the written hero of your story. Gross. It's vile. It's completely misguided. He should have just died at the end of the first film and let it be that. Let Don't Breathe stand on its own, because the direction and messaging that was sent with this trash is horrible. Oh, but they take it a step further. They decide we really, really need to trauma dump on this little girl. So the first film, we had, forced pregnancies and sexual assault. This film, we have forced, horrifying trauma against a small girl. As I said, she's already been emotionally manipulated and abused her entire life by this man who she doesn't know she's being raised by a rapist. And who knows what he might do to her when she gets old enough. We don't know. We don't really know and don't really care to find out. But then we take it a step further because, surprise, the twist of this film is that those people who are harvesting all of these organs from kids and are trying to abduct her are actually her parents, her father and her mother, who were injured in the explosion that she thought killed her mother, but only left her with even more damaged lungs and in a wheelchair. So now they reconnect with her so that they can take her heart and give it to her mother so that the meth head can live at the expense of her daughter. Why? Why? Once again, this decision is so much why? This kid has been through so much in her young life and has lived a life only of abuse, mental and emotional abuse, that you then have to trauma dump on her even more to give this story. The mom and dad drug her so that they can chain her up and while she's still alive, take her heart out of her body to put it into her mom's body. Then from there, he comes in to save her from these crazy people. Uh, hey, and we get this shot that is, I think, supposed to be badass and somewhat empowering, but it's really just horrifying. Is this little girl, in order to escape, sawing her dead mother's arm off? It's all just so misguided that I actually am baffled why more people didn't look at this and say, this is not right. This blind man being the hero after that first film is not right. What we're doing and depicting to this little girl on screen is not right. Everything about this movie is completely vile. It's trash. And I just don't understand. Even a 50% Rotten Tomato score seems vividly high for me. Brutal kills makes up for everything these days, I guess. I don't know. Some of y'all might love this film, I guess. Some horror fans might be championing it because of how brutal it is. But I left the theater feeling so absolutely disgusted. I could not. I could not just stand by and let this film pass without giving my 2 cents on why it is easily the most vile trash I've seen in 2021. Gross, disgusting, should have never been made. Don't Watch, Don't Breathe 2. It's projected to bomb at the box office, and my goodness, I don't usually root for a film's downfall like this, but I hope this tanks and it tanks hard. We don't need a third one. We didn't need the second one. And honestly, I feel disgusted that I even watched this trash. So that's it. That's my take on Don't Breathe 2. Sorry it had to be spoilers, but it had to be done to get across just how demented these writers and filmmakers are for coming up with this garbage. So, hope you all enjoyed my discussion, rant, spoiler talk on Don't Breathe 2. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Or, of course, you can hit me up on Twitter. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button and come on back for each and every one of my new videos. I love you all so much for your continued support. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.